Yeah, and so I was saying, I think you need to just stop all the Bezos hate, Lucas. Like, I really don't appreciate you talking about my employer like that,
Mm,
if I'm being honest.
mm. Yeah. Uh, I really did, dude. I like. It's like almost like Facebook now at this point, where it's so out of my life that I don't think about it. And then when I hear it come up, I'm just like, oh yeah, like that still is a thing. Like the other day, someone that Christina knows like went like Facebook official with their relationship, and her friend like sent her a picture of it. And she's like, well, they're public with their relationship, and I was like, dude, I totally forgot. Like at one point in my life, seeing someone's relationship status change on Facebook was like a huge moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, you would change your status from like single to occupied or whatever the title is on there.
Occupied.
I don't know what they call it. I've never had the chance to do it.
You've never changed your status. Dude, the best ones were always like from in a relationship, which is what it was, not occupied. I'm
Hey
currently
man,
occupied with
wait
someone.
wait a second. My
Uh,
my program is kind of tripping up and I want to make sure that the audio is good. I'm going to pause it. All right.
all right. Um,
What were we
we're talking
saying?
about the Facebook relationship shit. The
Yes.
the best part about like anytime that it was like worth talking about someone's relationship status changing, it was because it went from in a relationship to it's complicated. And those were always when I was like, oh, okay, this
Oh
is getting
boy.
interesting now.
It's getting juicy.
It's getting juiced. But yeah, man, it's just so it's the same thing with Facebook and with like Amazon stuff that I'm just like it's like because it's not in my life anymore, I just don't think about it, and it's crazy how much I used to think about Facebook before. Like how much of a presence that had in my life before I got rid of it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Facebook has changed. When did you delete your account? Like, when did you get off of Facebook?
Probably 3 years ago at this point.
I guess it would be kind of the same. I mean, Facebook for a while has really just been like viral videos and memes,
Mhm.
and like news stories and stuff, less than about like personal, oh, my profile and these are my thoughts, and this is my status.
That's kind of why I got off of it, man, because it was so much like drama on there, and like yeah, everyone thinking like they know the answer, they know the truth. People sharing articles that are clearly fake articles, and then they just don't do the due diligence to fucking. I mean, my mom included. Like there was just so many people posting on there that I'm just like, do you guys even know? Like, have you guys done any research before you just like got outraged and posted this onto Facebook so a bunch of other people can see it, and then they get outraged, and then they share it, and then they outrage a whole bunch of other people? It was just such a cycle of like negativity, and just it felt like a
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why the fuck am I on here? So it was easy for me to leave, man. Really easy decision, and it's crazy that like I literally haven't thought about it in 3 years.
I mean, man, literally the only thing keeping me on is like, just shows and music stuff,
Right? Yeah,
and like
it sucks because it's
if it
such a great tool for promotion.
it's well, it's not a great tool, but it is one of the only ones.
Right? Okay, yeah, that's more like it.
They kind of have a monopoly. Everyone must know this by now, but like if you're a band and you're like trying to promote an event, like about 20 to 25% of the people that follow your band page are going to see it unless you promote it.
Exactly.
When you
Yeah, they
promote it,
purposefully don't send it to your whole audience.
yeah. And
Yeah,
even when you promote it, I'm convinced that they just make up the numbers of like views and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Cuz we've promoted shows sometimes and we'll get like Facebook will say like 2,000 views, 3,000 views for like an album and then it'll be like two comments,
Right.
three likes. And it's like that kind of that doesn't add up, you know?
Yeah, they're doing it on purpose. Like it's the only way Facebook makes money is through advertising. So like they're gonna get ad revenue from anyone who has a page, quote unquote, on Facebook, that they know that it's like if you have a page, it's gonna be either a business or a group or an organization or whatever that you're gonna want to promote. That you're gonna be willing to spend that $20 to promote something for 3 days to so you make sure it gets to your full audience. It's crazy when I learned about that. That like if unless you pay for promotion, that it's not going to reach your full audience. I remember thinking
Yeah.
like, man, that was such a turning point for me. Like when I was really looking into their business practices, like like with all the negativity that was on there aside, all the times I got on there just to get upset with something that I read or saw or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
with all that removed, it was still like their business practices were fucking are horrible. And he's just, I mean, Zuckerberg is more evil than Bezos. Like, fucking Bezos is a piece of shit, but Zuckerberg is that dude is legitimately trying to run the world.
I mean, yeah, he's doing deals with, did deals with like Russia and uh, China, I believe, and just selling
Yeah,
information and stuff like that. And
yeah.
people all worried about this vaccine and like putting microchips, and like we're gonna know but like Facebook has made sure that the government already kind of knows everything about us, and having
And,
smartphones
dude,
makes
yeah.
it so everyone knows, we're already being tracked. We're already being stalked for information. That's how we get personalized ads. That's why whenever you look up like, you look up a couple pictures of a boat, suddenly you're going to get ads for boats.
Well, okay, here's the thing, though. That, because I'm in advertising, and that is a practice that's been going on for a long time, and that's through cookies on your browser. So it's like it's called retargeting. So it's like you go to a website, you look up a product. If they have the right tag or whatever on that page, you're gonna get retargeted with an ad for that same product because it's just like
Well, here's another thing is that recently I've realized on my phone, like I'll install a new app or something, and there will be an option that pops up when it says like, uh, this app would like to track your cookies or your location, and the only options I have are yes and ask app not to track.
right.
And that sure doesn't seem like a no to me.
Yeah, it's like ask the app nicely to not track you, and maybe it won't.
It's like that seems like a horrible, like that doesn't seem legal.
Well, it should be changing pretty fucking soon, I think. Like advertisers are gonna like cookies are going away in the next like year or 2 years, I think.
Really?
And yeah, so the ability to track you through cookies is gonna go out the window. Obviously, they're gonna find another way to do it, but like
Sure.
California started, I think it was called like GDPR. It might have started in Germany. I'm not 100% sure, but I know California adopted it first, where it was just like data protection. Like people can't track you without you giving them permission. Websites have to ask you to allow cookies. Um, and advertisers or websites are not allowed to sell your information to advertisers. Like that's a new thing that's going to start rolling out now because like people are realizing like there was no oversight over the tech industry. Like they were just fucking. It was the Wild West.
Well,
They were
for
doing whatever the
years and
fuck they want,
years.
dude. For years, I remember when I first got into advertising, how freaky it was learning about all the different ways that we can reach a customer. But not just that, but like all the different ways that we can get their fucking information. Like I can there's so much information about you that I can just like pay someone to give me. And then I can use that to advertise to you.
Well, is this are these new laws that are hopefully coming into light soon and getting used? Is that going to make your job harder?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to make it a lot harder because like the way that the way that my company makes most of their like closes most of their deals is through retargeting, is through like someone coming to our site and then we just like bombard them with retargeting. And we're just like, don't forget, like you looked at this thing, like, don't you want to buy it? Like, let me
Mm-hmm.
remind you that you had this in your cart and you didn't finish, like stuff like that.
Right. But
And that's
even
gonna
so, I'm
totally
I'm
change.
even so I bet you're still completely for it.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, like I have always felt a little tinge of like guilt and like knowing like this is a little inappropriate, like the way that advertising, especially online advertising, is conducted. Like it's
Right.
not. It's like it's creepy. It's really
Yeah.
creepy, and like
Yeah.
people would even like companies that would come in and be like, hey, advertise through us, like put your ads through our third party service because then we have this this information to like customer information that no one else has, and like they would tout, you know, like their data basically, and then they would even say like they would admit, yeah, this is pretty freaky, but like we can do this and we can do this, and I'm just like, so y'all know it's freaky, you know, it's like kind of inappropriate, or you know, like you're not protecting someone's privacy, but you're like, fuck it, I'm still gonna make money and sell it to you.
I mean, well, yeah, because that's how this country works. That's how the world works.
That's how the world works, yeah. But you know, it's going to change soon, and we'll see what happens with it. But I absolutely applaud it. Like, you know, I work for the man, and I hate it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, same here. Amazon employee.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. I'm basically you know, working in tech. It's just like you realize how fucking like soulless the tech industry is.
Yeah. Well, and you know, like you did, sometimes it's just easier to run from it all, you know? Uh,
Easier
Aside from these like
to run.
websites just like lying from you.
Yeah, man. You know, I sometimes I don't want to stay, you know, and
Right.
it like I'm so stressed out. I just want to hit the floor, and I'm
I
like
mean, look,
trying to break the habit, you know.
all we want to do is find somewhere we belong, you know?
Yeah, you gotta like look internally and like act from the inside, you know.
Right? Cuz look, if you're not going to listen to yourself, nobody else is
Nobody's
listening,
nobody's listening.
you know?
Yeah, I know. And you know, the whole like last like 10 minutes or so of the podcast has just been our forward
If
into.
if I'm being honest, and you know what? Like halfway through I was kind of numb to the whole thing.
Mm,
I kind of stopped listening, you
yeah, I
know?
felt like I was gonna faint
And
at one point.
yeah, and we just you know what? We just got that new Audacity update. It's
Yeah.
is figure point oh nine. I think it's called. Was that?
Yeah. Figure point oh nine. Great update. And this has been a really great session so far. You know?
What's up, buddies? Welcome to the Earbuds Podcast. This is a show where two very good friends talk about very good albums for a very good amount of time. I
Very
am
good.
your boy, Brett Bush's Chicken Water Cup Hannerhan. With me,
That sounds
as
delicious.
always, is Lucas, the one, the only, the Burger King,
Mm,
Intrakovs.
mm. What was yours? The chicken, Jimmy's chicken?
Bush's Chicken Water Cup?
That sounds delicious.
Yes, they actually put bits and pieces of fried chicken in there to give it a little more extra flavor.
I might be getting some fried chicken tonight, and I'm excited. What do people call us?
Well, when I went to the Bushes just a couple hours ago, they called us the odd couple of podcasts.
Hmm.
Uh, but then, you know, right across the street is the Burger King,
Hmm.
and the king himself came over, and he demanded that they rescind their statement, because he calls us the pod couple of oddcasts.
I like that.
Well, it's just, you know, it's hard to choose between two. Sometimes you're in the mood for one, sometimes you're in the mood for the other. So it's kind of hard to choose which one to be.
Well, I'm gonna go with the pod couple of oddcasts because I'm a pun guy.
Right. Well, you know what? I guess I'll be on the odd couple of podcasts. I
All
guess
right,
that's the
well,
side I'll be on.
I guess now we're officially earfoes again.
It's going to happen at least once every couple episodes.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, because we're not actually real friends. This is definitely more of a business than anything else.
yeah, like I said, like we pay each other, which it
Which
kind of
seems
doesn't make.
it doesn't make
Yeah,
much financial sense.
no, you give me $50, I give you 45, so it's like at least I make $5 every time.
Yeah, but I actually do steal an extra $5 from you without when you're not looking. I just reach in your wallet and pull out a crisp Abraham from you,
Fucking what?
a crisp Lincoln.
You're pulling Lincolns
I'm
out of me?
pulling Lincolns from you. Yeah,
Well, stop. I need that $5, dude.
you know that gust of wind that slightly it blankets the nape of your neck in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I just thought that was my grandpa.
Nope, it's your grandpa and me. I get another Lincoln for him for the help.
Oh, so now I'm losing $5.
You're losing 10 by now. Yeah.
You're giving my grandpa money.
Yeah. Well, he deserves it.
I mean, you can't take it with you.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we?
Yeah, we will see. And I wonder, like, you know, we were kind of like having talking, saying weird statements right before you did the intro. Like, I don't. Does that relate to this album that we're talking about at all today?
Album?
Oh, we're not talking about an album today, huh?
Is that what? Is that
Um,
what? Oh my God! Is that what you've thought this whole time?
ye-
Oh man, I thought we were. Oh God, I thought we were just improving. I thought we were just going back and forth.
we were just treading the boards virtually,
Yeah. I I this whole time I was in costume in the theater.
right?
I have my script. I have my screenplay. You went with it pretty nicely for not knowing it yourself.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. Like, it's the fact that I can't see you strikes again. I can't. You don't have a camera right now. I am handicapped in being
Well,
able to play along with you because I'm also in costume. I spent an hour on my fucking makeup. I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race for 3 days straight. I just want to be like Raven.
oh, another Luis influenced life choice. I see.
Oh yeah, I mean he's changed my life in dramatic ways.
Well, I mean, do you have stage makeup on? Is it TV
Yes.
makeup? Like what is it?
No, it's stage makeup. It's real dramatic, so people in
Okay,
the back can fucking see it. I have
right,
old man
exactly.
makeup on right now. I'm in a dress. I have 3 wigs on.
Well, if you'll just look under your chair real quick,
Well,
look
did
under
you
your couch.
did
I
you get me
did.
something?
I hit a little script in there.
Oh
It's
my
called
god.
it's titled Meteora, by Linkin Park. And so if you'll just we can
Ah.
we can warm up a little bit if you want, but that's mainly what we'll be going through today.
Red, yellow, leather, yellow, pleather.
Wait, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch,
Irish,
Irish
rish,
wristwatch,
rish, rash.
Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch. Let's
We're
go.
ready.
All right. Me, 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 me.
So, wait, what are we talking about?
This is an album called Meteora by the band Linkin Park. It is their second album, if I'm
Ah,
not mistaken. Also their best one, in my opinion.
I totally agree.
My dad played this album whenever when he was taking us to elementary school. So
Oh man,
it's probably one of the more developmental albums in my life, if I'm being honest.
dude, you listened to this in elementary school?
Yeah, man, my dad was cool.
Yeah, he was fucking awesome.
I mean, I remember like, yeah, he would put on the album. Forward would play in the Don't Stay, and I don't know why. I don't know how he did that when it was like 7 in the morning when he was taking us to elementary school.
Yeah, this is a loud fucking record. My dad used to play classical music when I was in
See,
elementary school.
that seems more appropriate. But yeah, man, this is. I've been excited to talk about this album. I believe it was the very first one I put on my side of the list of albums to get to. Uh, and I'm just excited to see what you think about it, man. I'm excited to talk about it.
Man, I remember when this came out. I was also in elementary school, but I was 15,
Mm.
and yeah, or I
Well,
was
you
I
were
was
you were still getting the hang of the alphabet. It's tough,
I had glasses. I had a learning disability,
right?
so I was a 16-year-old fourth grader, killing it. I was the coolest guy in fourth grade.
I mean, that's for sure.
Like all the girls liked me.
You snuck us. We would pay you money, and you would sneak into the gas station and get us Smarties, and we would just kind of crumble them up into powder and snort them.
Yeah, I had friends that legitimately snorted pixie sticks.
No, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why
So
that was a
fucking
thing.
dumb. I never understood it, and I was never into like the snorting thing in general. It was just such a weird like, like I got like the candy cigarettes thing. Like I bought
Sure,
those,
yeah.
like the bubble gum cigars. Like I can dig that for what it does for, you as a kid. Fucking snorting something like for real?
Like I don't know, man. I never did it.
I
Uh
never did it. I had good friends that did it and I don't understand why.
I, Lord only knows, but it is one of my most vivid elementary school memories is getting a pack of Smarties crumbling up on the lunchroom table and just like kids taking turns snorting it up their nose.
Fucking rolling up a Lincoln.
Not even that. They would just put their nose on the table and just like huff it.
Jesus. So wait, you would prep the lines for them and then your friends would do it?
I had no part in the matter. Thank you
Oh,
very
okay.
much.
Well,
And that'll be on the record.
you said I would buy Smarties and cut the like. Didn't you just say that?
You would buy us Smarties because we were underage.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. I was like, I thought I remember setting up the lines for you guys,
Yeah. Well,
crushing them up, lining them up.
you bought the Smarties. You helped us crush them up. You taught us proper snorting technique,
Yeah,
which most of us didn't listen to.
yeah, man. Back then, I had that like fucking antique little gold, uh, little snorter tube.
Right. Yeah. And you would
Yeah,
you said this is old Bessie, been with me through thick and thin.
yeah. I'm like, it's really oxidized on the inside, so you get a little extra, in every snort.
Right. You
You
get a
get that
little
nice
extra
metallic.
pixie dust.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when this album came out, yeah, 16 years old. Holy shit, dude. I thought this record, when I first heard it back then, was like 5 steps ahead of Hybrid Theory, and I loved Hybrid Theory.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it was clearly way better songs on this record.
Well, apparently, did you read through Genius at all?
I actually didn't this time.
Apparently, Don't Stay and a couple other songs on this record are kind of dedicated to the first record label they had.
Okay.
Uh, that did Hybrid Theory, and that were saying like Mike Shinoda shouldn't rap, and like trying to kind of change their vision and direction.
Yeah.
And so that could be a good reason why this album steps so far ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know about that part, but I did read that. So after Hybrid Theory, was a huge hit, they did that remix album, right? And Mike Shinoda,
Right.
I think it's called Reanimated or Reanimation.
Yeah.
And Shinoda, I think, produced the whole remix album, and obviously like worked with a bunch of people. Fucking The Alchemist, like remixed one of their songs on that. It's like amazing to me.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
and I before really doing this, I had no idea how big a part of the band Mike Shinoda was.
Same here. I had no idea what a creative like drive he was in the band.
Yeah, I mean he's basically the heart and soul of the group.
It seems that way, right?
Or if not the heart and soul, at least like the brains. But
I mean,
he's a big appendage.
yeah, he's like the left leg at least like of the band. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was really surprised to see how much involvement he had, and that's what I think is a huge difference between the first record and this one. To me, it made sense because like since Shinoda produced the remix album, everyone the whole band kind of realized like, oh man, we can produce our music moving forward. Like Shinoda had the ear,
Right.
So like the first album seemed like it was kind of out of their control in terms of production, and then
Hmm.
this album, like you could tell Shinoda had a way bigger presence in like the writing and recording of the record, because this is like most of the songs are like him rapping the verses and Chester singing the hooks,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
didn't remember that like back then. Like that didn't stand out to me, and listening to it again, I'm like, this is basically a Mike Shinoda led band on this record.
Yeah. It and really through most of Linkin Park's history. if not
I
all of it.
you know I'll admit like I didn't listen to any Linkin Park after this record. Except for like the huge massive hits that they had, like you couldn't escape anyway. But
Right.
it was really kind of surprising to me how much of a presence he had and how much of a step back Chester took. Where I was just like, Chester has such a great fucking voice, and honestly, like one of my favorite screams of any rock band.
Yeah, for sure.
He has the best fucking scream, dude.
I
And
mean, dude, some of these songs, right? Like the some of the bridges in these songs
uh,
specifically, where they're just like, hear me out now.
that's I knew you were gonna faint is like the best bridge on the record.
I mean, it's so many others like hit the floor, um, and I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there's some of the hardest parts of this record, and Chester is one of my favorite like singer slash screamers of all time.
He has a amazing voice,
Yeah,
amazing. Like, or he, I mean, he had an like he was just so goddamn talented that like it made so much sense that they tapped him to sing for Stone Temple Pilots.
wait,
Like,
what?
yeah, he was the singer for Stone Temple Pilots for like several years.
When?
I mean, obviously, like Scott Weiland had his fucking issues, and I don't know what stretch he sang for them, but yeah, he was like their singer at least for touring for a while. So
Dang.
like, and think like Scott Weiland has like such a like classic fucking voice, like and Chester tapping in and doing it like he's just so he Chester was so fucking good, man.
Yeah, man. It really is. It really was a shock when when the news came out in 2017, I believe.
Yeah, when he had committed suicide.
Yeah, and in just knowing that and going through this record, uh, it's a very angry record. It's very frustrated, very vengeful,
Yeah.
and very, I don't think it's the most personal. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's like the most personal specific record. A lot of the lyrics on the songs are very vague.
Okay.
But you can tell it's so emotional and so like it means so much to them. And when like especially spoiler alert, one of my Nar Nugs, one of my favorite songs on the record, Breaking the Habit,
Hmm.
I listened to it and like it made me cry, man.
I know, man. Like it's I was trying not to read too much into the lyrics when I was listening to it because I felt the same way. I'm just like you can kind of it's so easy to go back with that hindsight and go like, oh man, like he's talking about it here. He's talking about his struggles here. He's, and and I felt the same way that I was, because you hear Mike Shinoda's lyrics and then you hear Chester's lyrics and you know that they're writing their own stuff and it's all very like on theme.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Shinoda somewhere had said, like me and Chester obviously are two different people. We've had two different experiences in life, but we both understand loneliness and frustration and anger and pain and heartbreak and all that stuff. So like we can both come from different perspectives, but write about the same thing. And
Right.
so it's because I was thinking, I'm like, a lot of Shinoda's lyrics are about being frustrated with someone or being disappointed in yourself, or and I'm just thinking like, it's such a it's such a hard thing to have to listen to in hindsight, where someone like it takes their own life, and you realize like you go back to their songs and you're like, man, was this a cry for help? And it was almost like they're just talking about very human themes, like
Yeah.
very human emotions, something that pretty much everyone that listens to this could probably relate to in one way or another. But yeah, there were definitely a few moments listening to this that I just like, you can't help but think about Chester and, you know, taking his life, and then just the influence that he had on people, and it's there's a lot of emotion going back to their music for
Yeah.
sure.
And it shows you that this, what he was going through wasn't fixed with the fame and the fortune that and the success that his band ran into, and that it's a really long-term thing you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because in 2017, a decade or two after their debut album, and he just and he does that to himself. It's kind of eye.
Yeah, it is, man. Like, it's the same. It's a weird stretch of stuff like this happening, like with Chris Cornell, and you think about like Lil. I don't think Lil Peep like purposefully overdosed or anything like that, but you just think about these like artists that it's just. I think just being an artist in general, whether that's in music or any other medium, it's like people are artists for a reason a lot of times, and I think it'd be hard to find an artist that is truly centered and doesn't have any sort of. I mean, you could say the same about really anyone, but it's like especially artists
Yeah,
like they like it's hard to. I think if you'd be hard pressed to find an artist that isn't struggling in one way or another with a sort of emotional or mental, uh, you know, not issue, but something that's plaguing them a little bit, and it's just kind of people who go into art. I think see it as a outlet, so it's like
right.
it's really like when we were talking about Kitty, like some of their songs are you're just like, wow, like you're being so vulnerable with these lyrics, and like you said, like this record might not be the most personal lyrics like to them, to their personal experiences, but they're very vulnerable lyrics, and
Yeah,
expressing a lot of different emotions. And yeah, that Breaking the Habit, man, such a great song, and so different on the record. There's two songs that really stand out on this record. That one and Nobody's Listening.
yeah. I'll be the first to admit that this is a record.
There
you
are a
know,
couple flyover songs.
there are. I mean, it all follows the same formula about there's an
Yes.
intro, breaks into a lot of music, verse, rap, sing or scream chorus.
Yep.
You know,
Heavy bridge,
heavy bridge, and
one
you
more
know,
chorus, and then outro.
and so it's
Very
just odd to
formulaic.
me. It's very odd to me the placement of these songs, because the two most different songs, which are like definitely Nobody's Listening, and like maybe Session, Breaking the Habit, like Numb, they were all kind of pushed to the end. Like it goes
Yeah.
Nobody's Listening, and then Session, and then Numb, when I feel like we could have used Session as an interlude between, like, in the middle of the album,
Yeah.
to kind of break up the monotony of these tracks.
This just very straightforward new metal music format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I
not
agree,
even.
man. It almost seems like they front loaded the album with all the stuff that it's just like, let's give them all the hybrid theory shit up front,
Right.
and then the second half of the album is where they let them start experimenting a little bit. And I like the second half of this record a lot more than the first.
Yeah, I think it does get better. Like when I think Easier to Run is kind of the start of the mood
I
change.
think you're right. I think
It
you're
still
totally right.
has it still has that explosive dramatic chorus. It still has scream parts.
But it's almost like a ballad.
Yeah. And then, it's followed by Faint and Figure 9, which are kind of more the same of the intro, but then Breaking the Habit, Nobody's Listening.
Session is great.
Yeah, Session is. Yeah, I love that song.
It is really ballsy to for a new metal band to do an instrumental song.
Yeah, and like a DJ led. It might just solely be the DJ doing this song, and like, I we need to take a second to talk about the DJ, because
What do you have to say about the DJ?
I mean it is one of the best uses of a DJ that I've ever heard on an album.
I totally agree. I think between the only other band that I think does it as well is Incubus.
Man, I didn't even. I forgot they had a DJ.
Right? Because he blends really seamlessly in with the music, and I felt like the DJ just like of this for Linkin Park just he does exactly what he should be doing, and it's almost like everything that he does legitimately adds to the songs.
Yeah,
It doesn't distract you or kind of take away from anything else.
and I read on, I think it was Wikipedia, when they were talking about this album, that for all the DJ stuff they tried to get things that would kind of turn your head and keep you paying attention. Some stuff you might, never have really heard, and they do that. It's mostly in the intros that you hear these parts,
Yeah.
and then they make appearances throughout the song. Like on Faint, right? That kind of like main.
Yeah, that great string sample. I don't even know what it is, but it's so
Yeah,
good.
I have no idea, but it's fantastic, and it leads the song. And yeah, man, like other DJs and other bands like Slipknot, they had it. Their DJ did a lot on the first album, and that was about it through
That
their
was
entire
about it.
history.
Yeah, it's weird how much that first record stands out compared to the other stuff. The DJ was way more heavily in the mix. And it wasn't as good, in my opinion. Like, I'm glad that they kind of put him a little bit more in the back because I thought it took away from the songs. It was distracting, some of the
Oh,
stuff
I
he was
loved
doing.
it.
I mean, honestly, I like it too because I just love that era of music. Like, that's what I mean. Like, the DJ for Incubus is like, he adds so much to it that I love. But I did feel like the Slipknot guy was just like, it was too much because I got more into Slipknot around like Iowa and Subliminal Verses and stuff. So like going back to their first record, I was just like, whoa, it's weird to hear how much of a DJ they had on there. I'm just
Right.
like, ugh, like
Yeah.
I don't think of Slipknot as new metal. And then I listened to that first record, I'm like, oh god, it's so fucking new metal. It's just the heaviest new metal that had come out by that point.
Right. And
Yeah, man, the DJ adds a lot, dude. And
yeah.
honestly, it's been so long since I've listened to Linkin Park, like at least 15 fucking years, and I forgot how much I love their guitar tone.
Yes, that's
Ugh,
another fantastic thing about this band and this record is the guitars, and you don't realize how many riffs these guys have. You know?
yeah,
Like you go through about every song and there's like at least one iconic riff, like, oh yeah.
yeah, that's a good one, man.
And I
Like during
mean,
the Bridge of Fate, the
yes.
like,
And even during like Breaking the Habit, it was like
yeah, his guitar
like
part's really cool on that.
the guitar work is fantastic, and the tone is just meaty and thick, and it like fills out all the space they need.
It's really juiced. It reminds me a lot of the guitar tone for the guy from Seven Dust. I don't know if you ever listened to them.
I haven't.
Very similar, like blending in a lot of like instrumental or not instrumental, sorry, like industrial type of influence. Like there's a lot of like industrial influence I feel like on his guitar tone,
Mm.
and I always thought it was so cool. Just minus the tone, minus how great his riffs are and everything. Like I thought it was so cool that he would wear headphones when he played, and I never
Right,
understood
yeah.
why.
Yeah. He had the big old bushy afro, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I don't remember,
Oh man.
but I just never understood why he wore headphones, and I thought it was the coolest look.
It was I literally I think it was just a look, man. I think it was
Yeah,
just his style.
what he said in an interview was that it was they're not headphones, that they actually like they're just noise canceling.
Oh,
So
really?
he was just really worried about losing his hearing, so he would wear it on stage for noise canceling, and he said he just kind of became his look.
You never heard of earplugs?
That's yeah, I think it was just the look, man. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Linkin Park had the fucking new metal look down.
right. And when you get further into the industry, you'll find like they have in-ears that are also noise canceling.
Right.
So I'm sure he could have just used those, but at that point it was just his style. It was his
It was
like
people
thing.
loved it. I loved it. As a fan of Linkin Park, like seeing him in the videos wearing those headphones, I thought like was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, man.
I can't believe this record, it has sold over like 27 million copies worldwide. It went 7 times platinum, and
Oh man.
it's sold over 800,000 in the first week. Like those numbers are like unheard of now. Like this album was fucking huge.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And critics said that critics seemed to rate it pretty, like review it pretty positively, but also said it was too much like Hybrid Theory, which I don't agree. Like when this album came out, like it sounded so different from Hybrid Theory, which is it made me like it a lot.
I mean, I've hybrid theory is kind of its own thing, and I get a lot of the music stylings are kind of the same. A lot of the songs share the same mood, but like the production value on this album is through the roof.
Light years ahead.
They went, they went and a little experimental with more of their songs. Not maybe experimental, but they reached out into other stuff that I don't think they touched on in Hybrid. Kind of more rap based.
Very, very
things.
rap forward. Yeah. Almost to the point like we were saying earlier, where it's like this is a Mike Shinoda record with Chester singing hooks, and I mean even the drummer is in on the hip hop thing. Like in half the songs he's just playing a hip hop beat.
Yeah, and I love how they use like the beautiful blending of electronic and acoustic drums throughout this record.
Yeah. Really well balanced.
They know exactly like where to put them, where to have like just electronic or just acoustic or a little of both,
And the drummer is good, man.
Yeah, he's deceivingly good, I'd say. Like,
I feel like he's a little hobbled sometimes, like just because of the style of music that they're writing, He's going to do the 4/4 beat, the classic hi-hat snare stuff for the verses and stuff, but you can tell when he has little moments where you're just like, oh, this guy's fucking legit.
Yeah, it was like the ending to one of the songs had this weird, cool fill that I never really noticed before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I don't know, it was just odd. I wish I remember what song it was.
Yeah, I wish you did too. Honestly, like the songs that stood out to me the most were the ones that were what you would consider like out of their norm for like a Linkin Park song, and those were, no big surprise, the ones that it felt like the drummer had the most freedom to kind of do whatever he wanted, and they were really great drum tracks. The ones that my choice nuggies.
Your little nugs.
Yeah, my little chicken nugs. my like the it every. I don't think it's a surprise that it's like the songs that I like the most are the ones that sound the least like Linkin Park. When you think of Linkin Park, like I'm like, man, they just stand out so much to me. But I gotta admit, like, and I know I'm kind of bouncing all around here, that I'm not a big fan of Shinoda's lyrics.
No?
I think he's like, man, I hate to say basic.
Well, yes. That's... Ooh, okay, so it's at the end of Easier to Run is when that drum fill happens.
Oh, okay. Let me pop that on.
Sorry, I just found it.
No, you're good.
Where he kind of does a little... He kind of does a little thing on the toms, and he goes to the hi-hat a little bit as well. Which makes everything move that I'm made of wood.
He just does it once, it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's just not something you would really notice unless you're listening for it. But yeah, Shinoda, that's kind of what I was saying when the lyrics are very vague. It may be to a fault, but
yeah,
them being that vague and that basic makes it even that much more relatable to people. Which
right, like accessible.
It's why those verses are so like iconic to people. And I found I tried I tried to listen to this album, and I found I was just singing the lyrics the entire time.
All the songs are so catchy.
Yeah.
Like, this is a crazy radio friendly album for being such a heavy rock record.
Yeah. It's got that perfect blend of pop and rock, metal, new,
The new metal.
the new, because like some of the riffs in here are like hardcore,
Yeah,
you
dude,
know, especially like
heavy.
in the bridges.
I mean, we keep talking. Faint just stands out to me so much.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so fucking heavy, and that was a single. Like, that was a
Yes.
huge fucking single.
Yeah.
And it's impressive that you can write such a heavy album and be so accessible for so many people.
Yeah. It's kind of a once, because they did it a little in Hybrid Theory and Minutes to Midnight, which I think is what their next record was.
Yeah, that one's the one that they had like the Transformers song, right?
No, that
Oh.
I think that was the album after that.
Oh, okay. Man.
But they had like things like Given Up and crap. Let me find that little album, because I did, that was the first album that I'd ever bought myself. Like the first CD I've ever bought was Minutes to Midnight by Linkin Park.
Wow, no shit.
Given Up, Bleed It Out, What I've Done.
Yeah, see, I don't know any of these songs.
You know, what I've done, start again. No?
Nope. No.
Dang.
Yeah. I've literally never heard that record.
I mean, literally anything past that, I have not heard at all. I've heard, like, they did a Transformers song. They did, like, for Hunting Party, I think they did some other movie song. I don't know.
I don't even know. Yeah, I think they had a song on The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh.
Yeah. The Matrix always had really good new metal soundtracks, man. Like, Rage Against the Machine was on the first Matrix soundtrack. It was awesome.
Man, it's been very long time since I've seen any of those movies.
You should rewatch them. They hold up. They're fucking great still.
There's actually a theory online. I don't know if you've heard of this, but that
Yes,
the
I think I have.
the Matrix trilogy is about being trans.
And, you know, it's a really interesting theory, but I don't believe it.
Well, I think the only reason it's been so many people are talking about it is because the two people that made the movies are trans.
Yeah, right.
Like they came out.
Isn't that crazy? Like, two brothers that are now sisters? Like,
Yeah.
what are the chances that both of them are trans?
Right?
I think that lends a lot of like credibility to the theory, but I still don't think it was.
I mean,
they haven't come out and said it, right?
I don't know. I haven't kept up with the most recent Matrix theories myself.
I don't think the Wachowski sisters have confirmed, which is what makes me like. I feel like if it was true, they've heard the theory, and if it was true, I think they would have said that it was true.
Well. In any case.
Well. Anyway, you should watch them. And The Matrix had great soundtracks. I remember listening to The Matrix soundtrack at my friend's like 5th grade birthday party, and it was like Marilyn Manson and Rage Against the Machine, and
Oh man.
Tool, I think, was on there, and it was like fucking great. Dude, yeah, and I totally forgot, like, coming back to this record and just Linkin Park in general, I totally forgot that they had a fucking collab record with Jay-Z.
Yeah, I believe that came right after this record. Right after
Yeah.
Meteora is when they did
Like a mashup.
yeah, it was like a collection of 4 or 6 songs, if I remember correctly. Let me try to figure this out while I'm talking about it. With Jay-Z.
I think it was like, one was like Jigga.
Yeah.
With like one of their songs mixed in. And I remember watching their live performance on MTV and thinking it was so cool.
Collision Course is what
Collision Course.
What it's called. It's a collection of 6 songs where they combine both their songs to kind of like, they'd either play a Linkin Park song to Jay-Z music or Jay-Z lyrics to a Linkin Park song. That was usually the formula of it. And I believe Jay-Z recorded one original verse and Shinoda recorded a couple original verses.
Oh, that's cool.
For this album. And they performed it live like one or two times. I've watched
the live
it.
performance was really cool.
Oh yeah, it was great. I love how there'll be times when like Chester is screaming and Jay-Z will just look at him like, oh, holy shit. What was that?
Dude, I thought it was so cool even back then, but that even more now thinking about it, that like that must have felt like a huge like props given from Jay-Z that he wanted to do this with them.
Right.
Like how much respect he had for them as like artists to be like, I want to collab with these fucking guys. Like how huge is that?
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, man. Cause like
I wonder if it was a record label thing or it was one of them approaching the other. Cause I thought it was surprising back then and even more surprising now.
I'd like to think it was maybe Shinoda going to Jay-Z saying like, hey man, maybe do this cool little thing. And I believe that their version of like Numb Encore was an even bigger hit than Numb was.
I remember those songs, at least two of them being on the radio a lot. Like they were big, man. And I remember hearing them on rap radio.
Yeah.
Like that album was big, dude. It was a big fucking deal. Cause that's when like those both of those guys were at like their peaks at that time.
Yeah. It honestly might be one of the more successful collaborative like records ever made. Between two superstar artists like that. I don't think no one's really tried to do anything like that since.
I can't remember anything like that since, except, like there are rappers still on some rock tracks, like even Machine Gun Kelly, like rapped on some like really heavy band's track a few years ago.
I mean, yeah, sure. There are like features and stuff, but
yeah, to have a whole record, right? Like I haven't seen that since.
Yeah, to have a whole 6-song like EP of y'all kind of swap and spit, locking lips and swap and spit.
Dude, I want more bands to swap spit, man. I want more collabs, like more super groups.
What was it? It was like Public Enemy and
Cypress Hill and the dudes from Rage Against the Machine.
Well, it was that too. It was like Public Enemy and Anthrax, I think.
Oh, terrible.
Terrible?
So bad. I mean, I hated it.
Bring the noise.
I hated it. But yeah, that was one of the first instances. Well, think about like Run DMC and Aerosmith.
Yeah, dude, I hear that song so much at Amazon. I'm sick of it.
It's so bad. But then also Korn had like a lot of relationships with rappers like Mac 10 and Ice Cube, and a few of those like bigger rappers back then were on like some Korn tracks. I think remix tracks. Ice Cube might have been on one of the tracks from Follow the Leader. But so I'm looking up the Collision Course stuff, and it was Jay-Z reaching out to Shinoda.
Really?
Yeah. So basically MTV had a show called Mashups, which I totally don't remember at all. I'm going to look it up because I wonder if there are any better ones or good ones other than this. But it was like basically MTV reached out to Jay-Z and they were like, you can pick whatever group or artist that you want to mash up with and we'll let you guys, like, we'll record the record for you. And he fucking picked Linkin Park.
Dang.
And so like they were first going through emails, kind of emailing each other back and forth. Jay-Z asked Shinoda to start experimenting with like mixing the tracks and then sending some examples to Jay-Z to be like, what do you think? Will this actually work? And then they were like, yep, this works perfectly. And
I'd like to watch that show too. See who else was on there.
I know, right? Like I don't remember that show at all.
What was it called again?
Mashups.
Yeah. All right.
And there's not even a fucking Wikipedia page for it. So I don't know how much they actually did. But I didn't realize too that the band all re-recorded their tracks and all the vocals for the Collision Course record. It's not like he just took the stems and put Jay-Z over them. Like they re-recorded everything. to make it
What?
work. Yeah, the entire album was put together in 4 days.
That's insane.
Yeah, like,
God.
and it's, it wasn't like not everyone liked it, but like the Guardian fucking gave it 1 star. Like they hated it.
What?
Rolling Stone gave it 2 stars.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, but then like I think the best rating they got was from like a hip hop review, and like the all the rap review magazines and sites liked it, and all the the ones that typically do like rock music like all hated
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah, I think Spin gave it the best rating out of all those, and they gave it like a 3.5 out of 5.
Sheesh.
But it's also like those reviewers also didn't like Linkin Park in general. You know,
Sure.
so like they were gonna shit on it anyway, just because it's Linkin Park.
Right.
But yeah, I remember that being really really cool, and just thinking like, what an amazing feeling that must have been for Linkin Park to be like, fucking Jay-Z wants to work with us, like H to the
Right.
Izzo and Big Pimpin' and Jigga and all these like huge singles that he had out that time, and he was like picking Linkin Park must have been such a huge compliment.
I couldn't imagine that happening to me, man. I don't know what
I
I'd probably reject him. I'd be like, "No, I'm not good enough for you."
right? I would have had like major imposter syndrome. Be like, are you sure you don't want to talk to Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, so no, I'm sure I don't want to talk to
Yeah,
Limp
Jay-Z's, I'm
Bizkit.
really fucking sure I don't want to talk to the Nookie guys.
So let's get into our nugs, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, what were yours?
Well, as I said earlier in the episode, "Breaking the Habit" is my
Yeah.
first Nar Nug. That's my favorite song on the record. Might be, it's honestly one of my favorite songs ever. Uh,
Wow. Holy
I just
shit.
I just have a very special. I don't know. It was like I was just getting into music, and this song was very pivotal to me. Uh, I love the whole vibe of it. I love the little DJ part, the guitar riff.
Yeah.
It's so emotional and like very, very exposed and vulnerable
Yeah, it feels like
lyrics.
the most personal on
Yeah,
the record, for sure. That one and Nobody's Listening, I feel like are the two most personal songs on the album.
yeah, and I didn't know this, but apparently Mike Shinoda wrote this,
He
and
wrote all the lyrics?
yeah, he wrote it about
Oh,
a friend.
wow.
But even then, it took Chester a long time to be able to perform it live because he related so much to it.
Yeah, it's very he sings it so amazingly. Like you can
Yeah,
tell he's really feeling it. I mean, you can tell he has so much emotion in his voice anyway, like on all the tracks, but like this one it stands out on the record.
yeah. It's both very kind of miserable, but also hopeful.
Yeah,
I think.
you think about that, it's hard to be miserable with that drum part.
Right, and like the glitchiness that kind of pervades through the song
Yeah.
is another cool part of it, and the drums are kind of spazzy at times.
But they have that great, it's almost like that Powerpuff Girls drum part.
Kind of the amen break.
Yeah, it's very like EDM house
And
sounding, but it's so good.
and now that I'm listening to it, it might be one of the only songs on the album that doesn't have like distorted guitars in the
It
chorus.
it doesn't. It is the least heavy song on the
It's
whole record. He's just
it's
playing that.
yeah, and it's mostly
That's
like
all he's playing.
synths.
A lot of synth strings, right? And like really beautiful string parts.
Right, yeah, it's very cinematic.
Dude, I literally wrote right here that it is a movie trailer song. Like this is made to be in a movie, like in a really cool dramatic, montage scene or something.
Right.
Yeah, it is really really cinematic, very theatrical, and like it feels big.
Yeah, it's big. It feels important. It feels it's just a great song, man. I've always loved it. And have you seen the music video for it?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, it's like an anime music video. It's
Oh,
very
that's
dramatic
cool.
looking. It's very cool. I always associate it with whenever I listen to the song.
I'm definitely gonna watch that. I felt like these guys lended themselves so well to like the animatrix style of
Yeah.
animation.
Uh-huh.
It seemed like that was kind of their motif. Like when you look at like Reanimated, um, that's the
Well,
kind of style is like this mech anime style.
I guess it kind of makes sense because Shinoda comes from an Asian upbringing. I can't say what.
Right.
But his middle name is like it's like Mike Kunjiro Shinoda or something.
I was gonna say Shinoda sounds Japanese.
Yeah, it I think it is. I think it is Japanese, but I don't want to say anything. Michael Kenji Shinoda.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was born in L.A. But you can obviously tell that he is a lot of like, because even on like Nobody's Listening, like it kind of has that Japanese flute
Oh, I
part that's
love
going through
that
the whole
pan
song.
flute. Ah, I love it so much.
Yeah, man, I love it too.
It's oh man, the chorus of Breaking That Habit is just so fucking catchy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm fighting for, or why I
Why
have to
I have to
scream.
scream? I don't know why I instigate
Instigate,
and
say what
say
I
what I
don't
don't
mean.
mean.
Oh
It's
man.
so good and so relatable. It's great, man. Everything about that song is good,
Yeah, I love it. I'm in love with that song.
and
I
it's one of my favorites too. I it's I don't want to say it's my one of my nugs because I haven't decided yet, but it is one of my favorites on the record, and it's dude Chester needs to fucking sing every single goddamn song. Shinoda needs to have a rap verse, or maybe they switch off verses, you know, or they kind of go back and forth, like BC Boys style, where like Chester sings a line and Shinoda raps the next line or something. Like I would love to hear that more because
what they do
yes,
that constantly.
di- they don't switch back and forth like that
I mean, maybe
on
not
these
that
songs. It's like
much.
one of them singing the chorus, one of them singing the verses, and that's basically it. That's the formula.
I mean, there are times like in Numb where like Chester's singing and you know another mistake to got caught in the undertow, got caught in the
Yeah,
undertow.
they
There's
don't
a
do
lot of
that
little stuff
enough.
like that.
They don't do it enough, in my opinion. And I love this song because it's all Chester
Yeah, and
and how it
in
just builds. But by the time you get to the second or third chorus, you have all the strings playing. The guitar almost sounds like it's turned up. You know, the drums don't let up the whole fucking song. It's great.
and man, it is really tough for me to pick a second one because like that's my obvious first one just because of like sentiment mainly and also just because I it's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah,
But like, oh god, I'm kind of still going through them because I'm thinking "Hit the Floor" is a great one. It goes so hard the entire time.
it does.
I
Uh,
love that "Faint." Obviously, is a fantastic song. "Numb,"
yeah.
figure
No, Numb
nine.
has the unfortunate like I don't really like it that much anymore because of how huge that song was. But
Right?
I've heard it too many times at this point. But it's a
Yeah,
great song.
it was kind of everywhere at the time.
Dude, Hit the Floor, that opening, that guitar tone, that
It's like
it's
the
like
dirtiest, grimiest guitar tone.
it reminds me a lot of Cold Chamber,
Yeah.
like their tone, and that fucking that's a head bobber riff, dude.
And when they come in with the music, it's like,
1 minute you're on top.
this is not Mr. Shot. It's making the heart stop.
So catchy. It's basically a rap song played by a metal band.
Dude. Oh
It's
my
so
god.
fucking good.
Do you ugh, do you
I,
have your Narnugs?
dude, I mean, yeah, I can get started at least because I also had trouble picking them, man. Like, because the songs that I like on this record, and it's not all of them, the ones that I like, I love.
Right.
And so it is hard to pick two choice nugs for me, but I think an easy one is Faint.
Right.
That that was like the first song on the record that I was just like, just that. It's like the opening string part with
Yeah,
like
with
drum
those drums.
and the way the guitar comes in and it's like the song busts out. It has a great riff.
Yeah. It's got everything going for it.
It has some of the best like Shinoda lyrics on the album too.
Yeah, yeah, and this is probably the one of the rap verses that I know the best, just because it was a single and it was on the radio and stuff.
But
Probably.
it's legit. Like legit great lyrics, great delivery.
Yeah,
Shinoda has a great voice. Like his delivery is great. It's like laid back, but like works so well for the energy of the music that he's featured on.
I have a theory that every white person who raps starts off with the Mike Shinoda flow.
Yeah, right. Like the laid back, like kind of monotone almost.
Kind of like, I am a little a little unconfident. Like trying to put that little swagger in there, you
Yeah,
know?
but I think that's kind of why it sounds a little basic to me sometimes because so many people have ripped it off.
Yeah, it could be that.
But
Uh,
I mean, I love the drum part during the verses too. Just like I don't even know. It's just that just like
yep.
such good energy, just driving the whole song. The chorus is really catchy. Chester's fucking scream is great,
Yeah.
and we've
Oh,
already
God. And
mentioned the bridge.
yeah, that we've mentioned the bridge countless times, but it goes so hard. And
That
there's that
fucking
little
riff, dude.
there's that little synth in the back that's kind of like, "Duh,"
Yeah, that's it. It's very subtle, but so good.
but it like adds a lot. And then the script, I can't feel. Oh
I
man,
will
just
be
this
ignored.
dude's screaming is top notch, man.
Incredible, dude. That is one of the best bridges of any fucking new metal song for me
I mean,
ever.
it just gets so raw and dirty, you
And
know.
again, like riffage to the max, dude. Like riff salad on this song.
Riff salad, dude.
You got to make sure to eat your fucking greens, buddy. And this one's got riff salad all over it. This whole album is fucking riff salad. It's great.
Man.
So like faint, clear fucking choice
Yep.
note for me. Um, and honestly, I'm still struggling between Breaking the Habit and Nobody's Listening. I love Breaking the Habit, and it's such a standout song because of how different it is on the record. No distorted guitars. It's all Chester the whole time. There's a lot to love about Breaking the Habit, but I gotta if I'm listening to my heart, it's gotta be Nobody's Listening, man.
Is it just that like pan flute?
The pan flute is so awesome. The drums are weird. Their drums are weird on this record. It almost sounds like he's like hitting one of those like marching band bass drums. Just like
Right.
boom, 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 boom. Like so they're so big, but then you have that snare that's like really compressed and affected. The
Yeah.
drums are
It
fucking weird.
it kind of has a weird factory, but like a small room in a factory type of sound.
Yeah, it's like metallic. And
Yeah.
it's so weird and different and great. The drums are the however they fucking produce those drums on that record is so good. It almost sounds like, to be honest, like a Fort Minor song, which I don't know if you ever listen to Fort Minor,
Well, yeah, that is Mike Shinoda's other band.
like full on rap project.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, I like a few of their songs. Or I did when I first heard them, and this sounds like straight up Fort Minor.
Well, that makes
Um,
sense.
Right? Yeah. I mean, this is a Shinoda song, like for sure, and great. He again like a song with like really great lyrics. And it has my favorite line of any track on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, the line where he goes, "I hate my rhymes, but I hate everyone else's more."
Yeah, I love how they kind of drop the beat for that. Gives it a
It's
little more
so
impact.
good. That yeah, dude, that was so genius to like that line hits so fucking hard. And it's just such a great shit talking line, but it's still self deprecating. And he's just like, I hate me, but I hate you guys more. It's just like that's what keeps him going. And it's cool
Yeah.
because the song is about um, them being ignored, you know, like as a band, like not getting the respect that they feel like they deserve.
Right. And cuz well, even for their first album, they had a pretty new sound.
Yeah, they
Uh
did. Very aggressive.
but the way rock magazines and communities were, I'm sure they did not appreciate the meshing of styles with like electronic and hip hop and rap and
Mhm.
rock and like metal,
Industrial mixed in there.
industrial.
Yeah.
So I bet in that regard, like, yeah, they were getting a lot of flack.
I mean, rap rock to critics at this time was a fucking joke. But I feel like Linkin Park, even though they have so much rap rock in their sound, like um, they're a they're above that. They surpass being just in the rap rock genre.
Yeah.
Um, and just bringing it back to Nobody's Listening, like how cool is that chorus guitar? Just palm muted, chun 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 chun
Yeah.
chun 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 chun, just matching
Yeah.
the fucking bass hit, the bass drum hits.
And I love how that outro is coming
Coming
at you
at
from
ya.
every sound.
Yeah, dude. Like it's so. I
So
mean,
cool.
it is them putting their fucking flag in the ground, just being like you guys might fucking hate us, but we're not fucking going anywhere. And they're just like they're so sticking so true to their sound. I feel like that song is so ballsy and works so well, and it shouldn't. The
Yeah.
pan flute sample, the drums, the guitar, it none of it should work together, and it does so fucking well. And the chorus is super super catchy. Trying to give you warning, but everyone
Everyone ignores
ignores me.
me.
So
Yeah.
catchy, so good. I used to sing that head full of anger, head full of stress, heart full of
Hey, held in my chest.
I used to sing that all the time. Like those are great lines, man. And a little kind of like little thing that I never noticed before until I re-listened to this a lot was the auxiliary percussion. This little auxiliary percussion during the second verse that is really cool.
That's a nobody.
You can kind of hear this like
Oh, the kind of
little
boop, 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 boop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, this is just one of those albums you go back and you find something new. You know.
yeah, I don't know if he's like hitting like wood blocks or like
It's like it sounds like a wood block / bongo type of thing.
I thought it was a bongo at first, and now I'm listening to it again. I'm like, that might be wood blocks, or maybe it's both or something. But like, really nice touch. And I mean, if the pan flute sample wasn't enough, add the fucking drums to it. If that's not enough for
Yeah.
me to love it, add that fucking badass guitar part in the chorus where it's just like, I'm only gonna play a fucking palm muted jun, 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 jun. Like that's awesome. Chester's fucking lyrics and singing during the chorus is just so catchy and so like so fucking fun to sing along with. And then Shinoda has that, yeah, head full of anger, head full of stress, heart full of whatever, that it's like he repeats it several times. It's like, because you know it's fucking good.
Yeah, and especially when he's kind of like trading off with Chester at the end.
Yeah, nobody's listening.
Head full of anger held in my chest. Nobody's listening.
That's such a, man, and I wish I remembered which track it was, where you can hear a lot of really great producer, what I assume are producer decisions. Like, man, I wish I could remember what song it was, that it ends with like every the verse, the chorus, and the bridge are all being sang at the same time, and it's all Chester's lines,
Oh goodness.
and they all just work really well. And to me, it just sounds like, oh, good, a fucking garbage truck passing by while I'm recording a podcast. Um, it's just so, to me, I was like, that has to be a producer note where he's just listening to it and be like, oh man, I think that line would actually work with the same fucking part. It's like they all work melodically on that outro, and it's just so great. But yeah, man, Nobody's Listening has to be my second nug, and I got to be honest, it was really hard to choose between Nobody's Listening, Faint, Breaking the Habit, and Easier to Run.
Yeah,
I
that it,
love Easier to Run.
I mean, man, for me, I love every single song on this album. There's not a single song I'd even slightly dislike on this album. I know there are a couple you said that could, you know,
Couple
uh,
flyovers for me.
little flyovers, but yeah.
Specifically Figure oh 09 and From the Inside. Like those two
Oh,
songs just kind of lost me.
man, well, I finally figured out my nug. Uh, it was between Figure oh 09 and Numb. But I'm choosing Hit the Floor
Hit the Floor is a fucking banger, dude.
just because it goes so hard. I love that intro riff. I love how it comes in. It's like probably the most like headbang thrashy mosh song on the album.
So grooving too, man.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, comes in, and like I like the cool vocals of Mike in the verse, and then
Yeah,
when
he has
Chester
great
comes in the
delivery.
chorus, and it's like the most, 1 minute you're hot, Mr. Nine, Mr. Shot. Oh, and
Yeah, it's
this
great.
song also has one of my favorite moments in music, which is the very end of it when they're kind of doing that riff for the last time, like right after the chorus, and it's all got in it, and it's kind of glitchy and like
Yeah.
things are coming in and out. Like that was such a cool ending to me.
Man, the guitar is like seems like extra dirty on the whole song,
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure.
Extra gritty, like staticky. It is a great song, man, and it's one that like I remember not liking it when I first heard the record.
Dang.
Yeah, it was too much too hip hop for me at the time, and I wasn't really into hip hop like 2003. I was like 16. I wasn't that into hip hop at the time, but going back, it's like just the chorus alone like hits so fucking hard that
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
it's hard not to like the song.
Yeah.
And that guitar riff and that the kick doing the same dun, 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 like on like that little like post chorus or pre verse or whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
It's great. Yeah, Hit the Floor is a great one, man.
Yeah.
And
Uh.
I love it. It really is the most on the record, the most hip hop song, I think. Like even though like Nobody's Listening like is a rap song, I feel like Hit the Floor is the best example of a metal band playing a hip hop track. Because Nobody's Listening is just a
I
fucking
mean,
rap
that's
song.
just a rap track.
Yeah, that's just a rap song with distorted palm muted guitar in the chorus. This one is the most like rap metal, and it's so well done.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
the melody, and it's all gone. Like
Yeah,
it's
and the
that's
harmonies. I mean, the harmonies
the
throughout
harmonies are
this album are
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I feel like it's Chester, right? He's doing all of
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's all
Yeah,
Chester.
yeah, for sure.
In just the little things, like the little atmospheric things the DJ does in the verses of this song are cool as well. Like there's just like
During
beeping and dit, 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 and then go 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 go. You know?
Yeah, I was gonna say during the chorus of Hit the Floor, he's just doing that little sound that just you don't notice it if you're not paying attention, and then you
Yeah.
realize how much it adds to it.
Yeah.
It's great,
And
man.
so those are
Well,
my hit the floor and breaking the habit are my Nar Nugs, and I wanna introduce a new segment to the
oh,
show that
great.
I'd completely forgot to bring up to you beforehand that I only
Okay,
just remembered.
okay.
Uh, it's I don't have a name for this segment. We could edit this out if you don't think it's a good idea, but I'd like for us to kind of like fight for a song that should be like the song that people who want to get sold on this album have to listen to.
Oh, I like that.
right?
I like that a lot.
And so it might not be the best song. It might be the most accessible song, you know?
Hmm.
But like which one is the one that is going to win people over for this album and this band?
Man, it's. I would think it's either Hit the Floor or Faint.
You think Hit the Floor?
I think honestly because it's heavy as fuck. It's very rap like leaning, but it's fucking heavy, man. So like someone who doesn't like rap metal might like Hit the Floor a lot. And that might be the what gets them into Linkin Park, you know?
Right.
But that's why Faint kind of stood out to me also for that cuz just again it's like one of the heaviest songs on the record. Some of the best lyrics by Shinoda and like best delivery and the bridge is just fucking. If that bridge doesn't sell you on Linkin Park, then I don't know what will. To be honest, so I would think Faint. Honestly,
Well, I'm gonna throw my cap in the ring for Somewhere I Belong, actually.
okay,
Uh, just because I think this displays what Linkin Park has, for people who might not be so much into new metal. It has an interesting intro with that, but down, down, it still goes hard. The lyrics are
it's
about kind of like finding your place in this world and like, I thought my problems were my own, but I found I can actually share them with people. I think those could be very special lyrics to someone who feels alone. Uh, a good verse from Shinoda, a fantastic chorus from
yeah.
Chester. I want to heal, want to feel like a close to something real.
I would
The
definitely say it's the most Linkin Park ish song out of the ones that we've mentioned so far. You know, like I feel like Hit the Floor and Faint don't give you the full the true Linkin Park experience, and I think this one does.
Hmm.
More mid tempo, a little more open, a little slower. But then you have the great you have the catchy chorus, the great
you,
vocals by Chester.
you still have the distorted guitars,
Yeah,
and that bridge is pretty cool. I will never know, think till I do this on my own.
and I will
Yeah,
never
anything but until my wounds are healed.
leave. Super catchy. What a great melody.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. I agree. Somewhere I Belong, I think, is the one that will give you the closest to a Linkin Park song that you can get out of the ones that we mentioned.
all right, so y'all, if you only have time for one song, listen to Somewhere I Belong. Please just listen to the album. Please listen to the whole album. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love listening to you be so passionate about a record, and it just reminds me of the ones that we've talked about so far that are nostalgic for me. I can tell this is really nostalgic for you, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
cool to hear like how much this album means to you.
Yeah, and I actually got up at I went to sleep at a reasonable time last night, so I'm not dead dead in this seat.
Yeah,
I'm energized. Like we were driving to Pinballs yesterday, uh, like a little arcade for my birthday, a little birthday celebration. We were listening to this album, and Lily and I were just like screaming and like headbanging along the whole time, and it was just like a very, very cool experience.
that's so cool, man. That's the best. That's my favorite part of music. Like, I think I've said it before, but to me, music is the only one of the best forms of time travel that we have right now.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
really does take you right back to where you were, man, when you first heard it. You have probably so many memories tied to this record, and it's just so fun to hear you talk about it.
Well,
I've had a lot of fun listening to you talk about this record. Like just the story of you listening to it on the way to fucking elementary school with your dad is just so fucking great, man. I love it.
yeah, man. Well, thank you. I'm glad that we were able to finally get it on the podcast.
Me too, man. I think it was I was to say the least extremely surprised when I saw this on the list of albums that you wanted to talk about. I've been really surprised by some of the albums that you've picked.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a very picky, particular taste, but it's not exactly tied to any particular sound or
I was gonna
genre.
say I don't think it's picky, man, because you've done everything from Brick and Mortar to Denzel Curry to fucking Kitty and Linkin Park. Like you're all over the place, man. And it's so cool to just like, you know, being like such good friends with you and feeling like I know you pretty fucking well and then still being surprised by some of your musical influences. That has It's been like such a fun thing to do this podcast with you and like
I
learn
mean,
this stuff about you.
yeah, man, it was the same. It was the same with you. Like when you brought in last week for No Name Telephone, I like you told me before. Like, yeah, my favorite type of rap is like the braggadocious, like
Right.
gaudy rap, and it was like, oh, and then you bring in this jazz rap record with this
Yeah.
soft spoken hipster, you know.
Yeah. It's
But
it's interesting, man.
it's very cool, and and like stuff like Coastal Kites is not something I think you would have been into, but it was one of your favorite albums of last year that you heard last year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
man. I really don't give a shit if no one listens to this. It's so fun to do this with you. I love it.
man, I love it too. And you know what? I love you, man.
I love you, man. For real. And this is such a fun, like, it's been so fun involving friends with this and, getting like, I'm learning new things about, the friends that we've had on that it's just like, it's so cool to just like, music is so personal to people. And
Yeah,
it is next to movies, it is my favorite thing to talk about. And so it's a really fun process, like doing this and listening to albums I would either never listen to again or probably have never heard of, or, just like, getting out of my comfort zone and learning to appreciate music in for a lot of different reasons. It's just been really fun.
yeah.
And on that, like, I mean, I think obviously like you probably are going to rate this higher than me. I think this album means a lot more to you.
I would be extremely surprised if you rated higher than me.
Well, I, I think as a new metal record and how well written the songs are and everything, like I enjoyed this album a lot more than I thought I was going to in the re-listen. So like I would give
Mm.
it like, I mean, a solid like 6.7, 6.8 for
All right.
me.
What were like your main gripes with the record, real quick?
Honestly, and it sucks because it's no fault to Linkin Park, is how overplayed a lot of the tracks are.
Oh man,
Like
hate to hear
between,
that.
I know, dude, like between Somewhere I Belong, Lying from You, and Numb. I mean, those songs were just so huge. Don't Stay was like, these were huge singles. They had 5 huge singles on this record. So it's like it was just so overplayed, and but I can still listen to those songs and just appreciate them from an artistry standpoint. So it's like, at first I thought I was going to give this like a 4 something, a 5 something, just because like the songs that I like a lot, and I do genuinely love a few tracks on this record, but it's just such a overplayed, just was everywhere at the time when it came out, that I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much. But that's the only thing. It sucks because it's like the album was just too huge. I've heard the songs too many times. But it got almost a 7 just because it's just so, despite how like tired I might be of some of the bigger songs on here, it's like it's still all really fucking good.
Yeah.
So 6.7 with a lot of love.
6.7 plus a couple heart points.
Yeah, a couple, like I'm doing the heart hands right now.
Are you doing it with your entire hands or with just a couple fingers?
I've tried to do the Japanese one where you're just using your index and thumb, and I still can't figure out how they get it to look. I think my fingers are too fucking fat.
Huh. Yeah.
You ever tried doing that where you just kind of
have
like,
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that.
yeah, look it up, because they seem to be able to, like, I think it's in Japan, like they do it so well where it legit looks like a little heart, and I tried doing it. My fingers are just too fat. I just have My thumb is fucking massive. Well, what's your rating?
There was a moment of time when I was thinking of giving this a 10. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah, I mean that was when I was in the car and just like jamming out, screaming the song with my best friend. Like,
Yeah, dude.
and like looking back critically, like it's still going to be a very high rating, but a lot of the songs follow the exact same formula. I can see how someone would get tired of them real quick.
Sure.
They kind of save all their different songs for the end of the album.
Which
Uh,
I that's why I like the second half a lot more.
yeah, and it's an interesting choice. That being said, I love it so much. I'm gonna give it like a 9.8, honestly, because
Wow.
it's completely personal.
Yeah.
If it were like if I were to be completely like objective about it, it would probably be more of a 7 to an 8. But like I just enjoy this album so much, and it's such a treat to listen to it. Honestly,
Wow, 9.8. I gotta say that's the highest rating you've given an album so far.
I believe so.
Yeah. Wow, dude. I mean, that just shows you how much this album means to you. Like that's the like our ratings are totally subjective.
I
Like
mean,
we're
yeah,
100% fueled by emotions.
it's nothing you would find on like a critique website.
Right, at all. But that's why we get to fucking say whatever the hell we want, and our opinion matters.
Yeah, that's why you get to rate Kitty like a 2 point whatever,
Right.
and
And
I
you
get to
gave it
rate
a
Coastal Kites like a 6 point whatever.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Um, wow, 9.8. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
God
man.
damn, this fucking garbage truck just keeps fucking going back and forth down my street. It is infuriating.
Y'all got a
Jesus
lot of
Christ.
trash on your street, man.
God, you wouldn't think so living in fucking San Diego. But I have to have the window open because it feels amazing outside.
There's only one. There might be two 10 of 10 out of 10 albums, and we're probably not going to talk about them because well, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, we might.
It's like it's Deloused in the Comatorium and Odd Soul. Deloused is by Mars Volta and Odd Soul is by Mute Math. I haven't like listened to them with like am I giving it a 10 mindset yet? But
Odd Soul is fucking great. Those both those albums are great, but that Odd Soul was my intro to Mute Math because you
right.
recommended it, and
Yeah.
it is so good, man.
And also, I was thinking Francis the Mute as well, but like it's getting like a 9.9 just cuz those transitions are so long between the songs. It literally takes up like half an hour of the album is just like transitions
Yeah,
of ambient noise.
yeah, but then you fucking smoke weed and then you love them.
So I guess.
I do, at least. Did you realize that the anniversary of Chester's death was like 3 days ago?
I did not.
It was on January. We're recording this on January 23rd, I believe. The anniversary of
July.
Chester's. Sorry, I said January.
This is an old episode.
Yeah, no, July 23rd is when we're recording this, and yeah, he passed away on July 20th.
Wow.
So it was his 4 year anniversary of his passing.
Wow. Yeah, well, with that being brought up,
Yeah,
uh yeah, did you ever pull up the suicide hotline?
I did. You know, I felt like it would be a huge missed opportunity to not mention the suicide prevention hotline. You know, I've lost a friend to suicide, and it is. I mean, it's you can't describe what it feels like to lose someone that way. And if there's anyone that's listening to this that is struggling or feels like they need to talk to someone, I understand that the suicide hotline might not be the best resource for a lot of people, but it's something and it's a start.
I
And
mean, yeah, it's the best thing to do would be to get counseling or therapy, but some people
right,
don't have the money for that. Uh,
exactly.
and so
And
it's a good resource to have at least.
it's a good starting off point, at least. It's a way to maybe make you feel more comfortable talking about what you're going through. And if we don't lose one single more person to suicide, that if we can at least prevent one more person, it can't be just described. There's no way to put value to that.
Yeah.
So if anyone who's listening to this, if you guys are going through anything, please, like the suicide prevention hotline, it's 1-800-273-8255. We don't need to lose anyone else to something that can be 100% prevented and
Right.
helped.
And I'm sure I speak for both of us when I say that your friends and your loved ones would do anything to, keep you on this earth, and they would love to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, they are there for you, whether you think it or not. And that's another thing, man. It's like, if my friend had only talked to me, if I had only known, I could have done a lot more to help.
Who knows?
Who knows? And I just want to reiterate, the hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Please reach out to anyone. If it's not the suicide hotline, reach out to a friend, to a family member. People are there to listen. And I hate to end it on such a, heavy note, but it's just, talking about Linkin Park, you talk about Chester. It's not something that should be ignored or not talked about.
Right.
And I love that whole time there was a fucking garbage truck just making as much noise as possible in the background. Hopefully it's not too horrible. Brett,
Makes
what would
for
you?
A very romantic moment.
It really adds a lot to the message. Brett, what would you rate this episode, man?
I'd rate this episode a 9.8, my man.
I love it, man.
I would rate
this a 9.8 too. I think it was really fun to talk about this record and hear how much you love it. It, like, nothing gets me more excited than hearing a friend talk about something that they're excited about. So it gets me jazzed.
Yeah.
And man. Buddies, thank you so much for listening. This hopefully you guys enjoy this record too. Like, leave us a comment, tell us what you guys think. You can find us on Instagram at EBPcast. You can find me at Jean-Luc Guitard. You can find Brett at Brett Hanrahan with like 62 U's for some reason. I don't know why you put U's in there, but somehow, for some reason, you just love to fuck everyone's search up.
Yeah, I change it every week.
Every week you change your tag.
Yep.
And yeah, give us a follow. Tell your friends about this podcast, and we'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for listening. And Brett, I have an idea on what I want to talk on the next record. What I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, what is that, bud?
It is kind of an obscure record. I literally don't know anyone else that has listened to this without me recommending it. It is a album by a band
Dark
called...
Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
It is called Hotel California by a band called the Eagles.
Eagles?
I think it's Eagles.
Beagles? I think
Enrique Eagles, I think is what they're called. It is a band called New Villager, and it's all one word. It is a self-titled album, and I want to make sure that you have access to it. I'm not sure if they're on every single platform.
Boy. All right.
But I would love to talk about that on the next episode.
Let me check now. It's called New Villager?
New Villager, one word.
One word. Okay.
Yeah, and it's self-titled. Came out in 2011.
2011, yep. I got it right here.
Awesome. Well, then we are talking about that, my man.
All right, man. Hopefully we'll... I'm sure we're going to get some guests on soon.
I think we will. I've been putting out some feelers out there.
We're finally getting our situations kind of settled in.
I believe we are. I should be getting a desk soon. You're getting a new computer soon, or you got it today.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, buddies. Thanks for listening. This was super fun. Brett.
Lucas.
This was good.
This was good.
And 3.